Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And yes, I don't want the light on, so you get a dark face cam. But it is time to test out the new Shinsha in her own personal showcase. Relatively not. It wasn't extremely painful to pull her, but you know, it wasn't the best thing in the world, and we still don't have rain. I did my my free 10 tickets on her banner, so maybe I'll throw that in here right now. Alright, let's see what the free 10 tickets can give us. We got these overnight, so hopefully I can pull rain off this. I saw a few people pull featured units off of these tickets, so hopefully I can be so lucky. I kinda doubt it, but, you know, whatever. We've got a Dusk. Fake out? No fake out. Can we go purple aura? Can we pull rain? Probably not. Probably not. Alright, well. Funny. This puts us at 120 pity right now. $120 pity. Okay, well, that's cool. So yeah, they sucked. Anyways, single target, 430%, lowers defense. Cool, it helps people do a little bit more damage on one enemy. Has the ult buff, 70%, and also the lowering of the space resistance. So essentially just the same skill as Water Shuna, just not water. It's a good skill. It's a good skill. You can take this anywhere. You don't really need to rely on the space part of it, but the ult damage part of it is good for every team. It's just that there are other units that do it. So summoning for her specifically for this skill is not ideal. Her second skill is another 15% charm for 3 turns, and then also lowers pierce resistance on everybody, so that'll help Xion do more damage. And then her trait, if you happen to have dupes of her, you get 2 skill points every 2 turns, which is decent. But we're going to test her out on EX2 Tempered Edge, or Bad Beatdown, whatever the hell. And this is the team we're going to run, because now we have her for ult buffing. And we have Velzard, who is frostbiting, and you are debuffing twice. So the frostbite skill will enhance the debuffs that we put on for this, and also the 10% defense down will also get enhanced by frostbite. And Velzard's an orb changer, and she's space. So we can swap out Isis for that orb change. We brought Misery in for another space unit who also can buff greens. Also a healer, which this team doesn't really need, but she is another space unit. So it's a full space team. We've got Xion up to over 10k attack, which is good. So, I mean, we'll see how this runs, and then I guess we'll try her out with Isis and maybe Space Millum instead of Velzard and Misery next time. But we'll see how this goes. We don't really need Leon on this team anymore because his personal up buff is cool and all, but I kind of want to buff everybody's ult. So he's kind of been now super relegated. But it is nice that we can try and attempt to use Velzard here for the AoE damage. So I think ideally when we nuke we should have Xion, Velzard, and Shinsha up front. Sufia, I did awaken her fist, her fist, so she can do extra damage, but I don't know if she has a higher attack stat than Velzard. But Velzard also doesn't have a awakened weapon. So let's get you out for Sufia, and then we'll use your orb change. And then we'll bring you in for Sufia. And then we'll send this. We'll see how much damage we do compared to Velzard right here. Again, Velzard doesn't have an awakened weapon, so 37, 51, 64, right? So varying degrees of damage right there. Not a very fair test on, you know, Velzard's part, but it is what it is. We have a lot of Xion orbs, a lot of reds. So it does not give us a perfect orb change right there. So I think what we do is I think we just send the Xion orbs. Yeah, we'll send that. And I think we do this. We get you out, we bring Misery in, so we're just not really sending anything yet. We'll bring Misery in, so next turn hopefully we get some good orb changes and we can just use Misery's buff and then have Shinsha come back in. Okay, yeah, that works. So, green buff, blue orb change. We'll have to bring Sufia in for her orb change as well. And then, so we'll swap you out. And then we'll do Sufia's orb change. And then we'll swap Sufia for Shinsha. So thankfully she has a whole bunch of orbs here. And then we apply Romorus, give us some ult gauge next turn. Also heal a little bit. And then we can also, let's see, what can we do here? We're going to get a lot of points back from this. So we could Frostbite now, or we could Frostbite next turn. I think we Frostbite now. And then we also Charm Hakuro. Also does a little bit of instant damage, not that it's really that important. So we can do that. And then we'll go ahead and send this ult. Not on Gupta. There we go. So Xion does 24k with no additional real buffs. Because we didn't pierce. We didn't use the pierce skill, so the pierce debuff doesn't really mean anything there. But it does last for multiple turns, so we can use it now. And we have enough points. Well, we maybe have enough points. Alright, that gets us Velzard's ult, not another Xion ult. It gives us a double Shinsha ult, though. So that's something. Let's go ahead and let's not buff up. Let's also not send... Actually, okay, yeah, you'll get your ult next turn. Let's not send Velzard's ult, because I want to see maximum power here. Let's go ahead and lower Gobta, I guess. And we'll do... yeah, we'll do all these. So that'll be max points. And then next turn we can use the ult buff, the pierce buff, the charm strike on Xion. That wasn't great damage, I'm not gonna lie to you. That wasn't great. Alright, there's the charm, there's that. Cool. Alright. So now we have a full hand of Shinsha as well. Cool, awesome. So let's go ahead and, let's see, put the charm on Gobta so we do extra damage to him. And then we will use the ult buff, which also lowers space resistance, so we'll lower that on Gobta as well, just to make sure he dies. Also buff the ults, and then we'll use the pierce buff. So now Frostbite is still active. So when we send Shinsha's ult on Gobta, I guess, the 10% that she does will actually be enhanced. It'll probably be more like 12%. And then if we can see that, Frostbite's here. So now we have space resistance 39% instead of 30, defense by 13, pierce resistance by 13. So it works pretty well. And then we could use Romorus again right now, but we don't really need to because we don't really need to apply anything else here. So let's go ahead and send it. We'll send Shinsha first so we can do max damage, then we'll send Velzard, then we'll send Xion, and then we'll send the rest of Shinsha, and we'll see how this goes. So Shinsha, 46k. Velzard, 17-2, that's not great. And then Xion, 64k against Gobta. Okay. Hakuro didn't die from any of that. Unfortunate. 64k. Man. I feel like that's just not good enough. I don't know. We're kind of, I mean, we are also getting the 15% space attack from Romorus. That lasts for 3 turns. So she had that. She had the pierce, she had the charm strike. We did 64k on Gobta and then less on everybody else. I mean, no. I'm not overly thrilled with that output right there. I mean, if we were running Isis and Space Millum, we would have done probably, you know, the same amount, if not more damage with less debuffs. But we also would have had Space Millum doing like 150k on a single target, which would have definitely wiped out Hakuro or Rigurd, one of the two. So, I don't know about that right here, right now. Dropping Dark Millum means we don't have an orb change, which could, you know, we could take advantage of right here, technically, if we, you know, if we didn't have 3 orbs, 3 alts, maybe. I don't know about that. That was not overly impressive. So we have enough points so we can, I guess, pierce again. Now we can just full send on Rigurd, since Hakuro will die here. Shinsha, 24k, lowers the defense. 9.7k from Velzard's pretty pathetic. 28k from Xion. Okay, well, we don't really need to finish this. We saw what happened. Let's come back and let's, yeah, let's try something else. Alright, we're going to try that again, but this time using what I would consider a more optimal team for at least damage. So we've got Sufia, we've got Shinsha, we've got Isis, we've got Space Millum now for the space buff, and Drago for herself, and then Xion as well. So we've got 2 primary DPSs, a single target, other here. I mean, we can determine if we want to use her or if we want to use Sufia for that. Thankfully, if we don't want to use Shinsha, we can just use her alt buff and then send her away. So, I mean, that's useful. So let's see if this goes maybe a little bit more smooth and maybe a bit more impressive damage than what we had. So we had a whole bunch of debuffs. We had the Frostbite enhancing the debuffs by a little bit. So we won't have the Frostbite. We'll still have all of the same debuffs, technically. But then instead of a 15% space buff, we're going to have a 50% space buff. We just need a little bit more setup to get there. But thankfully, Isis will be able to help because she's buffing our orbs more than what Misery was doing. So then let's bring you in. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's bring you in. We'll leave Sufia up front to see how much damage we can do on this turn. Alright, so 44, I think Shinsha was doing like 51. So that's, you know, she's got higher normal damage, but she also has a better weapon. Okay, that's a lot of Sufia right there. But it is a good orb change, so we can take advantage of that. So let's do that. And then that's a lot of Sufia right there. Alright, we'll bring Isis in for Sufia. We will use this orb change, and then we'll use Romerus to give us extra points, and then we'll use the green buff. And then we'll bring Shinsha in for Isis, and then we will Charm with Shinsha, because we should get everyone's ult, so that 3-turn Pierce debuff will still apply. And then we'll get Shinsha's ult from that, and then we should also get ults for the other 2 ladies from the Charm and Romerus. So we should be set up now. Yes, we just need to make sure we have enough points, which we should, because we have another Romerus, and plus all those greens gave us a lot. So, yes, alright, so we're capped out right here. So, we're going to double single target and then AoE, as long as we have enough points. So here is, let's do the ult and then the debuff on Gobta. And then we will Pierce. And then we'll use Romerus, and that'll put her skill onto Shinsha as well. And then we can use the space buff. And we don't have enough points to use the Charm Strike, unfortunately, but we will Drago here. So we're missing 15% attack on Xion, but I think it'll be just fine. I think it'll be okay. So let's go ahead and let's send. Let's make sure Hakuro's dead, and then we'll send the. Actually, Now, you know what? Since she's single target, let's see her damage on Hakuro. We'll send this on Gapta. We'll send the AoE, and then I guess we'll try and finish up Hakuro. So what do we have on Xion right now? So she's got 4% trait attack. That's from Rammers, because I did shard her up in case you guys didn't see that. Pierce power trait, pierce rate, pierce power, space attack, and then the alt buff. Okay, so this should... I feel like we should kill Hakuro and Gapta here, but I could be mistaken. Shinsha, 55-8. Maybe won't kill. 112 with... Oh, okay. Much... Okay. Not quite. We were close. We were close to killing both of them. I kind of expected more out of Milim, actually. 112. Maybe I'm used to using the Veldora team. Alright, but that did take away the unit that was charmed, so we didn't get the another alt for Shinsha, which is fine, because we can just sit here and target Gapta, and he should die anyways. So let's just send these Milims. Actually, he won't die from this. They're going to do 1 damage, yeah. But this will get us alts for next turn. And then I guess we just repeat. So I guess this is the power. Like, even if you don't get good hands, the fact that you're still getting alts is really what we're concerned about. So let's send that, make sure he's dead, and then we'll send the space Milim on Rigurd. This won't do too much damage, though. Yeah, 19k, 25k. We should have sent Shinsha first, technically. Oh well, 37k. Alright, I mean, that works better. It works better. I wouldn't say it works stupendously, but it does work better. Let's try the Veldora team now. I like that team. Alright, instead of Veldora, I actually decided to use Guy, since some of you may have pulled Guy on the Shinsha banner if you happen to pull her as well. So, I figured now's a good time to show off both of them together. Because, obviously, this team can make orbs, but it'd be a lot better if we just had a protector that could do it. But Guy does not give us additional skill points when we use him. He changes 3 and 3, he gives us alt gauge, which is cool, and he also gives us an AoE debuff, which will help out Xion, but there is no inherent point giving. So if we wanted to use, you know, our 2 DPSs at maximum power, we're going to have to play around a bit and swap them out while using the space buff on 1 turn, and then coming back another turn, and then using the alt buff from Shinsha. So that's what we're going to do here. I've also switched it up because we know that we get a lot of points on greens, and we get protection gauge. So instead of running the big 3 for protection, I've actually swapped out, and I put Milim and Soe up front, because this will get us an additional 12 skill points, which will allow us to use both Sufia's orb change and the green buff from Isis on turn 1, which will then just help us, you know, accelerate our plans of nuking over and over and over. And it'll get us max points. So this should, in theory, work. So let's see how well it works and how much damage we can do. Obviously, if we were to use Dark Veldora, we would get the extra 70% magic damage, and then the space attack, and then the pierce, and then all that. And we know we can do very good amounts of damage, but that's not, like, a 1-turn nuke is not the point of this team. This team is to send alts upon alts upon alts, which Guy is still going to help us do, because he's still giving us protection, or alt gauge, while also giving us 35% alt. So there, we've used the orb change from Sufia, we've used the green buff from Isis, so now let's get both of you out of here, and we will run with these 3 up front, and we'll get quite a few points off of this. There we go, so 100 points, 1 1/4, I guess, for Guy, who's going to full orb change for us next turn. And we still have 3 units on this team that can charm, so we can still get at least, what, 39% alt gauge if we were to use all 3. Not that we really need to, because with this, we're going to get alts here. We're going to get extra gauge, and then we're going to get a full hand of greens. So we don't really need to do that, so let's just do this. And this will be the first time using Guy today, so it gets us closer, full hand of green, and then this will get us alts plus change. So, and then another Guy next turn. So now here, we can use the space buff on Milim, and then pick and choose the other unit that we want to send away. whether it be Shinsha, whether it be Xion. It's probably going to be Xion and Milim, because they're our primary DPSs. So let's go ahead and use the space buff, use Drago for funsies, use the Pierce buff also for funsies, because, you know, we're gonna use a few other skills next turn as well. So then we'll swap them out, we'll swap Milim out, we'll swap Xion out. And since we have another guy right here, I mean, we can do good damage. And, you know, we might get another Shinsha ult from this, but let's find out. Do we still have one more turn of that? Yeah, we still have one more turn of the green buff, so that's cool. Let's charm. There we go. Just to make sure we get a little bit extra out of it. Use Guy. So that's the AoE debuff for one turn, which isn't going to help anybody right here, because Shinsha's a single target. But with these two greens and a full 6 send, I believe we should get her ult again. Yeah, next turn. There we go. And another Guy. So 3 turns, we're looking pretty good for damage. And so now we have enough points to use the ult buff. We've already used the Pierce and Drago, so there's really nothing else we need to use except the Charm Strike on Xion to give us that extra 15% damage there. But now that we have full points, this works pretty well. So there's that. That also gets us Isis ult, but that really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and bring you back in for Sophia. Yes. And then we'll get you out for Isis. Alright, that gets us a full hand of greens. Awesome. And then we can use the ult buff, and we can put that on, I think, Gobta. Yep. And then we'll also put the Charm Strike on Gobta as well. And then we'll be, you know, we capped out on skills right there. So Shinsha only has the 70% ult buff, but, you know, Xion has Pierce Power, Space Attack 50%, Guaranteed Pierce, the Charm Strike by 15, plus a 70% ult. We've got the Space Resistance down on Gobta. We got the AoE debuff from Guy going. We don't need to use Guy right here. We could, but there's no real point. So we're just going to hold on to that. We'll send... we'll send Shinsha on Gobta first. We'll send Milim on Hakuro. Then we'll do Xion. And then I guess we'll try and follow up and guarantee that Gobta is dead. So Shinsha, 39.8, okay. Milim, 92k. And then Xion, 81k on Gobta. So almost matched the Milim ult. Not quite, but almost. So here, there's an extra charm, so we get another Milim ult right there. Does seal our attack up. Or no, our crit and pierce, which is unfortunate, but it'll be okay. So I think here we just do this. We swap you out, and then we do a full hand of this. And then that'll get us another Guy next turn. It should get us the ults for Xion and Shinsha. And then we'll send this. And we'll call it game, I think, because they're gonna die from these ults next turn. They're gonna die next turn, right? Whole lot of damage right there, a whole bunch of ones, but it's okay. And then that hits Sophia, that's fine. Okay. So there we get some extra charm attack or gauge up there. So now we'll take Sophia back out and I think we'll space attack again. And then we can't use the pierce. Oh, we didn't use that either last time, did we? We could have done a little bit extra damage too. Ooh, that was a misplay on my part. Oh well. Alright, let's use Guy. The AoE debuff is still there, but I want a full hand of greens. That gets us a double ult for Shinsha, of which we're going to have a triple ult, apparently. Okay, so let's make sure that Gobta is dead. So let's send this. Let's send... let's send... I think we'll do that, and then follow up with Shinsha. 38k. Xion, 39k. I think she got a crit on Gobta too, 39k. Alright, and then a whole bunch of 1s. Alright, so, I mean, that works too. I think Guy and Rammers are both pretty good at this meta. Because, you know, Rammers is, I think, dependent on you not getting good orbs, and Guy is giving you good orbs, while also giving you alt gauge, but a little bit less. And also not giving you those extra points, but, you know, having full hands of greens is as good as having those extra 40 skill points, because that just means you're going to have extra damage. So I would think that they're almost interchangeable, and since they both are green-focused metas, Guy won't have any serious nerf to him come Jubilee, or even like the EX 3, 4, and 5 of this stage. So I think this works. I think it works. I don't see a problem with it right now. It's just that I wish Shinsha did maybe a little bit more. Like, I don't think we needed an alt buffer, especially when we have Dark Milim, who is changing to greens and alt buffing. Like, yeah, she's a dark unit, but I don't think we needed Shinsha as an alt buffer. They could have given her something a little bit more special. Maybe like an awakened skill, even though this team is focused on alt rushing and killing fast. So that's my initial showcase of her. Honestly, not that impressive. She's cute as a button, but definitely not as impressive as I wanted her to be, and also definitely not necessary for free-to-play players. So take that as you will, but let me know in the comments what you guys think of Shinsha. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.